So for today, we're going to do BlackPakPro assembly, the simple, easy method, or at least an alternative method, so stay tuned. We'll see if indeed it is simpler and easier. So, we'll start by taking the instructions. Actually, all kidding aside, hold on to these. They're going to be useful whether you do it step by step or you do it the way we're going to show you today. So we'll start with the floor. We'll start with the two short 13-inch side panels on one side and the two 16-inch panels on the other side. The beauty of the BlackPakPro is it's pretty well thought out, and if you look at it, the floor has a tongue on all four sides. When we look at a side panel, when it's oriented correctly, you see the ridge up here on the top. You see there's a groove on the bottom. That groove will line up with the tongue on the floor. So what we're going to do is dry fit it. Basically, we're going to turn it into an adult Lego set. I'm going to start with a short side, put the top away from me, take the floor on the short side. You got a hook here and a gap here. Put it together. So I've got one side on the floor. Here comes the long side. Tongue towards the groove. And then line up this groove. Okay. There it goes. Now we'll take another short side. It may be easier to do this with it sitting on the table. Top side towards the camera, tongue to groove on the adjacent side, and then work it put the groove on the bottom to the tongue on the floor, work it together, and then pop it in. So now's the hard part. I'm going to stand up for it. Basically, I started with one tongue to one groove, floor to side, adjacent tongue to a groove on the sides, and the groove on the side over the tongue on the floor, repeated with the third side. Now for the last side, it gets a little bit trickier. And it might be best to set it up like we have here. Here we have a tongue, here we have a groove and a tongue. So we want the two grooves over here kind of fit together. Using my sunglasses, I can't quite see. Then I have to kind of pull this out, drop it onto its groove, there it goes. There's a little slot in there that the side of the panel goes in. And there you have it. Now we're obviously not going to go kayaking right now because we still have to put the fasteners into the sides. Tools I'm going to need: a screwdriver, Optional would be a drill. Notice I have it on minimum torque. We're screwing into plastic. To check that, grab it. You don't hear that clutch releasing. You don't want to be putting the drill to your screws. Even though I have the drill, I'm always going to start the screws by hand so that they start straight and we don't get carried away with the drill and get putting in screws sideways or things like that. We'll start with the top screw on the side. Get it started. The bottom screw on the side. Get it started. Then take the drill and don't drill it all the way in. My recommendation is start the screws by hand, tighten the screws by hand. Now I'm going to turn it, do the same thing, top and bottom start by hand on this side, then put them most of the way in with the drill, and then repeat on all four sides. Then I'm going to hand tighten them. I wouldn't use the word torque, it's plastic. You really don't want to put torque on screws in plastic. You just want to get them snug, make the crate nice and flush. Should not have my sunglasses on, I can see. There we go. Then we're not going to bore you with this detail. We're just going to finish the rest of the screws. Simply do all the remaining screws. That's 4 screws aligned it already. I can just go ahead and hand tighten them as I go along. I just used the technique of hand start and then hand tighten them on the top and bottom of each side as a way of making sure that I've got everything aligned before I have a whole ton of screws in here and find out I've got to loosen something up and take it out and put it back in. When you're putting screws into plastic, you kind of want to do it at one time and leave it. So there we have it. Was it easier to just dry fit it? I kind of think so. Maybe not simpler, but easier. But many people will like to use the instructions. And I just happened to look at the instructions, and what I noticed was interesting. When I did the 16 by 16, the instructions kind of were awkward and hard to follow and put you in the wrong sequence. They fixed that. Now step 1 is what I said all along, just build the crate. And it's also simpler and clearer how they do it. So kudos to Yak Attack. A lot of companies, they never fix things like that. So between last year when I bought the 16 by 16 and earlier this year when I bought this, they've actually improved the instructions. So we're not going to do a lot of the completion of this till we put it in the kayak and we know how we're going to put rod holders and things like that on. So we'll continue with the things that aren't affected by how you rig it, the floor bumpers and the lid bumpers. So you take the bumper a washer, a screw. This is probably the most complicated part. And repeat on all four corners. Careful. These will go with the round portion here up against here and the hole over the detent like that. Same thing here. Rounded portion against the solid part, little tabs out, and same here. So we finished the first part of the assembly of the crate with just doing the crate, and mentioned that we're going to take it out, test fit it in the tank well of the Outback, and see how everything fits, and see how we were going to finish this out and decide upon what its actual purpose is going to be going forward. I had mentioned that when I bought this crate, my goal was to use it as a modular crate to carry the active target forward-facing sonar, its sonar hub and dedicated battery and all of that. But it's bigger than that needs to be. And also we found that it really wasn't going to fit in well with the 16 by 16 crate with the 4 batteries in it for a battery pack. But between when I bought it for the active target and when we assembled it the other day, I had bought some newer, bigger batteries, and they fit perfectly in this crate. So the ultimate purpose of this crate is going to be a 12.8 volt LiFePO4 battery box that has a 200 amp hour capacity, 100 amps in each battery, and they're also batteries that have better BMSs. They have low temperature protection and Bluetooth, so I can monitor the batteries. So this will be the most capable battery box. The one in the 16 by 16 with the 450 amp hour batteries will be the most flexible. This will probably be the battery box that we use for the Motor Guide XI3, the 12 volt system. The 16 by 16 with the 4 batteries will be the one we use for the NK motor. So that's it. BlackPakPro, simple and easy method. We just wanted in this video to show you how to get the crate assembled. We're going to go ahead and finish the crate in its final form, and then we'll have a video on this crate as a battery box and how it turned out. We'll also have a video demonstrating how we completed the 16 by 16 with the 4 batteries in the battery box for more flexibility. And if you like this, please hit the like button. If you hit the subscribe button, it not only helps the channel, but you'll get a notification when future videos come out. So thanks again for watching.